from clarkwoods.com. This is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 198. I'm feeling very pleasant today, and I am Chris.
And I am also pleasant and trying out my NPR voice, and am Steve.
Sitting in for Steve today is Steve.
Also Steve.
Is also Steve. Sitting in today for Steve is also Steve.
That sounds like a strong bad thing.
Well, that's what when
hey Steve.
That's what when people on one of the shows I listened to were doing their impressions of NPR people. They'd always do that one because it was Fresh Air with Terry Gross.
I'm Bob Oakes.
Is almost never hosted by Terry. It's always like so and so in for Terry Gross. So and so.
So-and-so, in for the guy that was a jerkhole.
Yeah, well, and
but a different kind of jerkhole. He wasn't a touchy jerkhole. He was just a yelly jerkhole.
Which jerkhole was that?
Tom Ashbrook, I think.
WBOR.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think On Point was nationally syndicated.
Oh, okay, that's right.
So people that are listening in other parts of the country...
Yeah.
Are probably aware who Tom Ashbrook is.
Yeah. So you're saying he was not a touchy asshole. He was just a regular asshole.
I think he was just a regular plain old asshole.
Regular plain old asshole. I mean, is that better or worse?
It depends on whether you like being touched or not.
By an asshole.
The kids loved it. They loved that one.
I'm sure they did.
There's some kids playing.
Touched by an Asshole. That was the spin-off to Touched by an Angel.
There's some kids playing in my neighbor's backyard, and like there was some tittering and laughter after that joke. So
you heard them from?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you have headphones on, so
I didn't.
Why do you think I was just pointing to outside and said the kids love that?
Well, but I was like, I thought you were joking. I didn't know there were actual kids out there.
But your kids are gonna love it.
But your kids are gonna love it. Touched by an Asshole does sound like a show for our times, as opposed to Touched by an Angel. Well, not that Touched by an Angel.
You mean Touched by a President? That's it. That's all I'm gonna do.
Title.
No.
He could sue us, I suppose.
I'm not saying which president.
You're talking about...
It could be a fictional president
that
doesn't...
about William McKinley.
Yeah, or I could be talking about a president on a television show.
You think Jed Bartlett ever was a touchy asshole?
Was that the West Wing?
Yeah, that's the West Wing guy.
Did you?
I watched the first few seasons of that.
I watched, I think, the first couple of episodes, and I found it entertaining enough.
Yeah. I came in, I think must have been the second season, maybe even the second season finale, and they used the Dire Straits song "Brothers in Arms" to great effect.
Which is one of the songs off of the Brothers in Arms album.
Is it in fact?
Yes, that album also had
Money for Nothing.
Yes.
Which and does it also have? No, it doesn't have Romeo and Juliet. That's on a different one.
No, it has.
It has one more.
It has Walk of Life.
Walk of Life. Okay. Yeah.
But
I mean, it has more than that. It's just it.
Yes, but of the hits that Mark Knopfler had.
Yeah.
With Dire Straits, but what was it? I was talking with a friend at work, and it's Pride Week, and he happens to be gay, and he had listened to that song, and he was like the real version of that song, which drops the bad F word, or the other bad F word.
Yes, the other bad F word, the other white meat.
Yeah. I wanted to say it, but then
you're not allowed to say it. Your friend might be allowed to say it.
But as in the joke context, it would be like blank, the other bad F word.
Yes.
So he was, he didn't like the song for a while, and then the song is basically like the song "Short People" by what was his butt? Randy Newman. Randy Newman wrote a song called "Short People," which is a song that he basically rails and makes fun of and tells everybody in the world that he hates short people. And there's, except for the one verse, like in the middle of the song, where he's basically like, "Short people are just the same as you and me."
Yeah.
Like whatever. Like that verse, and like everything else is like, "Short people have stupid faces. I want to punch them in their stupid faces." Yeah, that's basically the whole song.
Yeah, you do a great Randy Newman.
I do. I've done it in karaoke before.
I'm not. I was being sincere.
Short people, no. Well, yeah. So, but not like completely dissimilar. Money for Nothing is two working stiffs that are watching the folks on music videos, and they're angry and jealous.
Yes,
and so
they would be
the kind of people that would be apt to use that word, especially in the 1980s.
Yes,
they're the
kind of people that today voted, or 2 years ago, voted for a certain orange asshole.
Yeah.
They probably loved it.
The Syracuse mascot is who you're talking about.
I am talking. You think you think Syracuse mascot is a touchy asshole?
I don't know. I think he's called the Orange Man.
He is the
which is a very unoriginal mascot.
But at least, I mean, there isn't any racial overtone to the Orange Man, is there? In the way that, like,
I don't know. Like calling somebody an Orange
team,
Man.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything. There's any sort of race attached to being orange.
Yeah, I don't think so. Although I could be wrong.
Anybody that is a better racist out there than us, which is, I mean, there's a lot of people, a lot of you out there.
There's a lot of more competent racists.
Yeah, we are not good at being racists.
I would like to think not.
Occasionally, we might say something stupid, but it's never in malice. It's just in ignorance.
Yes, and.
So yeah, the song "Money for Nothing" is basically two moving guys that are just like angry about like how they make lots of money like playing rock songs on TV, right, where we're lugging around furniture and microwave ovens,
right,
and custom kitchen deliveries.
You got to move these.
Yeah, and Sting is on that song. You know,
he is on that song. He graciously guests on that song.
Yeah, and this led into the conversation about Weird Al.
Yes,
because Weird Al is one of those consummate professionals that typically asks for permission from the people he's parodying.
Right.
And when he did the song "Money for Nothing," Beverly Hillbillies,
yeah,
or is the soundtrack to his major motion picture UHF, which a lot of people don't understand what it is anymore. Like
they don't understand UHF.
Yeah, they don't like, because I think it was called like Vidiots in Europe because they didn't have that wavelength of television, but now we don't.
Right.
Or we do, but it's not something you have to turn the knob on the side of the TV from VHF to UHF.
Right.
And you know, but I'm going back a little bit. And so we were just talking, and he called Mark Knopfler, and he's like, or maybe there was some talk between agents. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they got into communication, and he asked if he could do the parody, and then he was like, sure, if I can play guitar on it. So the guitars on the parody of Money for Nothing are actually Mark Knopfler.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Al makes friends. I mean, he's friends with Lin-Manuel Miranda, the Tony-winning composer of.
Yes, we've touched on that
of the
before.
Hamilton.
We've touched on that you have.
We've touched on it with our assholes.
That you hope that, stop talking about being touched in your asshole or with your asshole. How do you touch somebody with a hole?
Well, I mean, you spread your cheeks. Right, and you get really
close to
the
hole is the absence of things.
But okay, so you're getting a little technical here. I guess you're touching them with your sphincter. Is that what you're saying?
Is that the pucker hole?
I don't know.
Leo, you're a biologist.
Okay, so you're saying if I say the word hole, so it's not the pucker hole, it's the pucker.
Yeah.
You're touching them with your pucker.
Yeah.
Not your pecker.
You don't say I kiss somebody with my mouth. You say
some people do. I think some people say you kiss them with your mouth.
With your mouth. No, you say you
kiss them on the mouth.
Kiss them on the mouth, or no, you kiss them on the lips. You don't kiss them on the mouth. Like the
I've
open
heard
hole
on the mouth before.
You don't kiss people on the open hole. That means like if they had their mouth agape and you were to put your lips in between there and basically move in and kiss their teeth.
I think there's a porno site out there for that.
What?
I'm sure there is.
Teeth kissing?
Teeth kissing. What were we talking about?
I don't know. Money for nothing.
Money for nothing. Your gay friend or coworker.
He's a friend.
Okay, so your gay friend, and has he come around?
I don't know if he's come around. I don't think he's going to be playing it at any get-togethers he ever has. But I think he understands the song a little bit more.
Yeah.
Than to think that Mark Knopfler is just a bigot.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's a problematic song.
Well, yeah, because of that lyric.
Yeah. Unless, well, I mean, do we know Knopfler's sexual preferences? I mean, if Knopfler himself is gay or bisexual or pansexual or any of those, then maybe he's allowed to say that. In the same way that black rappers are allowed to use the N-word when we are not.
But this isn't like, I mean, it's a different time, Chris. Back in the 80s when that song came out, or was it the 70s?
Well, and Knopfler's from Britain, right? Is that right?
I don't know.
I don't know why I think he's. I thought maybe he was British. But of course,
you almost said it.
You almost said it. The F word, the other F word, here means something very different than it does in Great Britain.
Just like fanny means pussy.
So it's a totally different thing. Can you imagine that conversation, that sort of cross-cultural conversation where a lady, maybe we've talked about this before, but a lady from Britain says to a lad from America, I want you to put it in my fanny. And he gets the wrong idea. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing? You think that's happened?
Maybe. In fact, probably a lot. There's been so much accidental ass fucking because of bad communication.
Now, I gotta ask you this. So my friends in college who were sexually active way before I was sexually active, they had a joke where they would say the words anal sex and then we go like it was the most horrifying thing in the world to even contemplate or imagine having these were ladies. I don't know that that's important to the story, but these were a couple of female friends of mine who their whole thing was anal sex. Like they did not want to. I guess they didn't ever want it to happen, and they just thought the whole concept was gross. Or maybe I'm reading into it. How anti anal sex are you, Steve?
It's not something that I'm interested in, but it's not something that I'm against. But
okay, it's not something that. But you it's not for you, but it doesn't. You don't go at the very thought of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. I don't particularly. I mean, I've had a digit up there, and I'm not. That wasn't really necessarily my favorite thing.
Right.
Yeah. So I couldn't imagine a cock. So
yeah. Well, what about you giving anal sex? Like, are you against that?
No.
Okay.
But it's not something I mean, if said person and this said person would
I didn't want to get this right.
This said person would most likely be the person. I mean, it definitely would be the person that I am engaged to marry.
Right.
I don't imagine she's interested in that, and if she's not interested in that, then I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, no, I was just talking conceptually. It was the weirdest thing for me as a college student because it wasn't like a thing that I was particularly like, I need to do this right away, but it wasn't something that grossed me out on the face of it the way it seemed to. There might have been, besides the two, I feel like besides the two women I'm thinking of, there might have been a couple of guys who were in on the joke with them too, and I was just like, I don't know. It seemed like an outsized reaction to something, and
I mean, it's probably not comfortable. Unless it's something that you find pleasurable, in which case it's probably very comfortable. It's like putting on a glove.
I get the impression that I don't know that I've talked with. I've had several gay male friends over the years.
That's nice.
But I don't know. I don't know that I've ever talked with them specifically, at least at length, about this. But I feel like I've heard that gay men don't have nearly as much anal sex as the rest of, as the sort of uneducated masses might believe them. That there's a lot more hands and mouths and stuff like that, and that the butt only comes into play with very special people on very special occasions.
Yeah, I mean, because I imagine, because it is where the doo-doo comes out.
It is where the doo-doo comes out.
And so I think you would have to prepare one or the other.
Yeah.
Depending on who's getting the treat here.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like, you don't want to, have fucking Taco Bell the day before.
Wait, what is the ass the taco and the dick is the
No, the shit that's pouring out of the asshole as a result of the Taco Bell.
Oh,
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. We haven't mentioned this yet, but it's Pride Month.
It
Steve.
is.
It's Pride Month, which is why we're
talking about butt sex.
talk about butt sex. Well, I mean, we should also talk. If we're talking about butt sex, we should talk about scissor sex. I mean,
that's like if there's any lesbian women that listen to the show,
or any lesbian men. I guess there could be.
Yeah,
there could be male identified. Okay.
See.
Yeah.
Aha!
All right, I stand corrected.
If there's any lesbian women out there that
well, why are you saying lesbian? Why aren't you just saying lesbians?
If there's any lesbians out there,
okay,
that is this a thing? Like, is this a thing that actually happens?
What, scissor sex?
Or is it something that you try once and you're like, this isn't practical?
I don't know. I've never been a lesbian.
I'm not asking you, Chris.
Well, I'm the one in the room with you.
I put the question out to the world.
Out to the world.
And okay. I'm just looking at you. Because we're sitting across from each other.
I would imagine it's a thing. I'd imagine it's a thing that people try.
Yeah, that's the operative word. Yeah. Try. Like, is this a thing that you would do often?
Right.
Like,
right.
Or is this something you try once and you're like, wow, this isn't really getting the job done?
Yeah. Oh.
Or, like, I mean, imagine if things lined up really great, like in that situation, and that that you could get something really good going.
Yeah.
But if that isn't the case, then I doubt it'll happen.
There's a song that popped into my Apple Music.
Was it from the Scissor Sisters?
It was not from the Scissor Sisters, but it was a song called Tetris, and one of the lines in the song was.
Is it about
It's a song about. One of the lines in the song was. Like playing Tetris, bodies on the mattress. It is something about seeing how we could fit together. So I imagine if you're sexually speaking somewhat of a Tetris player, maybe you would be interested in that sort of thing.
Well, don't they know anything? If they fit together perfectly, the line will get removed and then they'll disappear.
No, the line that you only disappear when.
What, when that long piece comes down?
No, I say you only disappear when somebody snaps.
What?
When Thanos snaps you out of existence, that's when you disappear.
No, I was talking.
Everything else is a myth.
Yeah, I was just talking about Tetris.
I know. Do you think it's that Thanos doesn't like straight lines, and that's why Tetris, the lines just.
So, like, what your alternate or your expanded universe is that Thanos. Is in control of the
reality stone allows him access to all universes.
So
right?
he's in control of every Tetris game that's ever existed. So he knows when you get one line. But
yeah, he's got nothing.
He must really hate it when people suck at it and get all that really up to the top and go.
He thinks of them as inefficient, and then he goes and he wipes out their entire planet. Those people that do that.
I don't think they have Tetris on other planets.
You don't think so? You don't think there's intelligent?
I don't know,
intelligent Tetris playing happening.
Elorg might have something to say about it.
Elorg?
Yeah.
Who's Elorg?
Elorg is like a Russian technology government agency, and they own the rights to Tetris for a very long time.
Oh. So you saying when we play Tetris, we're letting the Russians win?
Well, I think I forget what the name of the guy who actually programmed it.
Russians win.
No. The guy that programmed it. I think he has the rights now, and he lives in the United States. And he
you sure he's not a super spy?
I don't think so.
He's not a deep cover, deep shadow, deep underpants.
There's a very good there's a web series called The Gaming Historian, and it's not funny or anything at all. It's just basically informative.
Yeah,
and he does I think a rather long episode on the history of Tetris. So check it out sometime if you've got 45 minutes.
Tetris on the mattress, or maybe that's got to be in the updated version.
Yeah, maybe. Like, is that a new song?
I think it's a new song. I think it's a 2018 song. Who
yeah, well, I think he did the Tetris history last year. So.
Oh wow! What happened to my stuff?
Oh no! It all got deleted because of the MMD or www.apple podcasts. By the way, you guys can give us a 5-star review on this rambling, incoherent mess on
iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Apple Podcasts, please, or wherever you get it. But Apple Podcasts is
Podcasts is the one on the phone on the iOS, but you still have to go into iTunes on a Mac.
But okay, so if you give a 5-star review on your Mac or on your computer or on iTunes,
it goes to the Apple Podcasts.
Okay,
it's all synced up.
It's all synced up. That's good. Okay, so you can do it on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, depending on how you get your podcast.
Madeline Bailey is the name of the artist who released the song in 2018 called Tetris.
All right, cool. Everything, like video games, are becoming so mainstream, man.
I mean, when you get sexual positions named after video games, then yeah. I mean, have you ever tried to do the Pac-Man?
No.
What would the the Pac-Man would be cunnilingus, right?
Or just eating balls.
So it's either fellatio or cunnilingus, depending on.
No. It's nothing to do with the dick. It's just about munching balls.
But so you don't think that when somebody is giving head, when somebody is performing fellatio, that they don't get the balls involved?
Well, I'm saying that doing the Pac-Man would focus primarily on the balls.
I don't know if there's a word for that. Okay, so it's
It's called the fucking Pac-Man.
Okay, so the Pac-Man is eating balls until you eat the really big ball.
You don't actually eat the balls.
You do eat the balls. That's what the Pac-Man is. You eat balls, and then, I mean, eat in the sense of like you put them all the way into your mouth. And
you go numbers.
But then, when you eat the really big ball, wherever you find the biggest ball of them all, usually in the corners, then you can eat the ghost.
Just to note, Brian loves AC/DC. He probably is wicked.
And the ghosts have bottoms that look rather like shorthand for a skirt, right? So are the ghosts meant to represent it? Like Pac-Man eating the ghost, is that when it moves from being ball eating to eating old?
I think
ladies.
there's a joke limit that we reached with this, and I think it was a little while ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it?
I think you might have went at 1 or 2 steps too far.
Okay. Asteroids? What's So how are you celebrating Pride Month, Steve? That's what I would like to know.
I'm going to continue to support people who are gay.
Who are proud?
Gay, trans, whatever. Like if you are a person that whatever, like I don't know, like
you're gonna support them.
as a straight person, it's hard to quote unquote straight person.
Oh, okay.
It's hard to quote unquote like do anything except for support.
No,
like,
I agree. There's not a ton that you can do except support, which is a ton.
Yeah,
to
I'll
offer
just
the
be
support.
like, hey, I support whatever it is that you're doing.
There was at the concert that I went to the other night. there were balloons spelling out the word Pride, rainbow colored, behind where the band was playing, and there were Pride flags on the windows. This was at the Dorchester Brewery, Dorchester Brewing.
Why were you there?
That's my friend Mary. Her band 3 at Home was having their CD release party.
Ooh, did you buy it?
I had pre-ordered it on since they Kickstarter, but they used Indiegogo. So I helped fund the whole recording process because I love them so much.
So you got a copy of the CD as part of your...
I should have, but I forgot to grab it that night. I thought I only bought the digital copy and the T-shirt, so I had both of those. So I didn't.
You could have gotten a physical copy and gotten it signed by the whole fucking band.
But I did not think that was part of the package I paid for. And then later, my friend Mary sent me a text message and said, in fact, yes, I should have gotten a CD. So she's gonna sign it. I don't know if she's gonna get her bandmate to sign it before.
Is this one of those breweries that has a pinball machine, or like? Because that's what concerns me. If like
no pinball machine.
Oh, well, that's bullshit.
Well, it's a brewery in fucking Dorchester that is actually kind of a nice place. I mean, Dorchester. I don't know.
Well, everything's getting gentrified around here, Chris.
Yeah. Well, so let me tell you this. I walked from my office in near Brattle Square in Cambridge all the way to this place in Dorchester, which was 5 miles there and 5 miles back. Now, some of those miles through Dorchester were dicier than the last mile or so.
Yeah, when I was walking from what the fuck is it? Safeco Field? Is that where the Phillies play?
I think so. That sounds right.
When I was walking from there to downtown Philadelphia, because like I couldn't, I stupidly didn't download a ride sharing app.
Okay.
And so I was kind of looking for a cab and just started walking in a direction and failed to find a cab.
Right.
And so I just and then it got a little iffy in some areas of Philly, and I don't know where exactly I was, but I was like I saw a cab and I'm like, holy shit, I was waving my arms around.
Yeah. I felt fine about it. It wasn't nearly as sketchy as I thought it would be. In fact, it was pretty quiet most of the way through Dorchester, and then it didn't start to get sketchier again until you sort of got more into Boston proper.
Well, you used to hang out in the combat zone, Chris.
Yeah, I did. But I went past, I managed to time it really poorly because I went past Symphony Hall at precisely the moment that whatever was happening in Symphony Hall got out. So it got very crowded.
Was it a Pride event or something?
I don't know. The people were dressed really nicely, but it was.
Well, you're gonna end up going there soon, didn't you get tickets to something?
I got tickets to. I did get tickets to. I got tickets to something else the other day.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. I got my 9 Inch Nails tickets a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we talked about that at length.
Yeah. Those are to the Wang Center. But I did.
You mean the Bach Wang Center?
Yeah, I did just the other day, Steve. I won a lottery to buy tickets to see Hamilton.
You remember when winning the lottery meant you won money and not the right to pay money?
I do remember that. I think that still happens from time to time.
Cool.
But I think generally speaking, if you win the lottery, like if you win a scratch ticket, what you're really doing is winning the right to scratch more scratch tickets.
Well, unless you're the kind of person that occasionally gets a scratch ticket and then occasionally would win a lot of money and then wouldn't buy more scratch tickets.
I don't know that person exists. I think that's kind of a myth, like Sasquatch.
Well, we we went out last night for some bunless burgers, and the place we went to had Keno, and we resigned ourselves to donate $5 to the state of Massachusetts and play some Keno.
Yeah.
And we did, and we didn't play anymore. And when we win, like I think last time we played, I think I won like $25 or something like that, or maybe it was 40. I think I won $40.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't say I should play more. That means I've got $40.
You're a better man than most, Mr. Woodbury.
No. I'm not looking for accolades here.
Well, I'm
for not having a gambling addiction.
what was I gonna? I had something there to pride. So I had won the right to buy tickets to Hamilton, and then I bought tickets to Hamilton after consulting with my wife and deciding not to get the most expensive tickets I could because she would have killed me. But to get slightly.
Is that sitting on stage with the actors?
No. But there were seats very, very close.
But this is like a touring company.
This is a touring company.
Isn't
so
Lin-Manuel.
No Lin-Manuel Miranda, okay. No David Diggs, no nobody. No Philippa Sue.
Yeah, but you'll probably like this cast just as much.
That's what I'm worried about. Honestly, like are
you gonna boo if they don't
boo? But I know. I know the original cast soundtrack so well that I think I'm probably gonna not listen to it, and I don't listen to it often nowadays because I listened to it way too much when I first got into it. So I think I'm gonna purposely not listen to it at least for a couple months before we go to see it, if not from now until then, because I want to not have the precise rhythms and voices and whatever in my head. I just want to go in and enjoy it as a show. I think that's the reason, honestly, that like my friend
What, you're
John,
not lying to me?
What?
You're not lying to me?
My friend John, years and years ago, when we would go to concerts, made a habit of us not listening to, because he always manned the stereo, whether it was me driving.
Was this that? What was it? PSU, what's his butt? Like, don't wear the T-shirt of the band that you're going to see.
No, he wasn't that crazy, but we as a way of getting yourself pumped for the show, or when we wouldn't listen to the band on for a couple of weeks before the show, so that by the time you got to the show, you were so starving.
You were aching for some
Nine Inch Nails,
or aching for some Foo Fighters.
I never saw the Foo Fighters.
No.
I saw REM too many times.
There's a guy I went to college with. He's a big Foo Fighters guy.
I can appreciate that. They're all right.
I've been aching for some Spin Doctors.
Did anybody ever ache for Spin Doctors? I mean, Spin Doctors was something that, like, it was all right if it
I gotta look up what their fucking hit was.
Pocket Full of Kryptonite, right? Oh no, that's the name of the. Is that the name of the album?
I think so.
So yeah, no, they had two. They had two hits off that album, and I don't remember either of them. But I just recently found the article is actually 2 years old, but I recently found.
It was two princes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Just go ahead now.
Yeah. Consequence of Sound.
And Little Miss Can't Be Wrong.
That's right. So they would not have been on this list because both of those were hits. This was a list by Consequence of Sound of the 100 greatest one-hit wonders of all time. And
do you want to go through the whole list?
No, I don't necessarily want to go through the whole list. But there was some really interesting stuff on there. I listened over the course of Friday and then into
you listened to the whole, like, all the songs?
I listened to all the songs. I made a playlist.
Was the Divinals on there with I Touch Myself?
Yes, it is. Wow. That came on yesterday while we were moving stuff around, and I said... Melody was not paying attention. Kaylee was paying attention, and I said, "Hey, Kaylee, you're gonna be like." She was actually like bopping to the beat, and then she heard the chorus, and she's like, "Ugh, that's gross." And
I remember that song came out. I think you are a little older, but like I think you were probably in middle school when that song came out. I think
I was probably about her age.
Your brother and I were
the lady, the female singer of that band was a crush of mine at that point. Because I watched the video was on all the time, and I think she had red hair, and I was super into redheads.
What about Lisa Loeb? What about
I thought Lisa Loeb was interesting. I wasn't necessarily, and she was cute, but it wasn't like I had the hots for Lisa Loeb.
Oh.
Lisa Loeb was more like a person that I would like to be friends with.
Okay.
No, but and if she would even give me the time of day, it might have become more. But it wasn't like somebody that I was, like the woman from the Divinals or I don't know. I wasn't a Cindy Crawford person. It was Christy Turlington was the supermodel that I really liked.
I don't. I'm gonna have to look her up.
She was in George Michael's Freedom 90 video.
Freedom.
Yep. Hold on to your
90.
Yeah. So anyway, so I got tickets to see Hamilton, but that is not at the Symphony Hall. It is at is it the Music Hall? I don't know what the hell is the name of the place where they do the theater. Symphony Hall is down on Mass Ave.
Or as I like to call it, Ass Ave.
Yeah, well, by the Berkeley.
The College of Music?
Yes.
Wow.
You go down Mass Ave, past Berkeley, and a little ways down the road, you got the past the Christian Science Center. You got the whatever it was, Symphony Hall.
Wow, that's great.
It was, but that's not where I'm going to see Hamilton. Hamilton's in the Combat Zone.
Nice, but it's not the Combat Zone anymore.
No, it's not. Or it's. I mean,
you can't get a hooker with your theater anymore.
No. It's so sad. I mean, that's how I used to do theater all the time. Was go see a show and then
watch a play and then
Yep.
get an HJ.
Well, I remember when I drove with my my first exposure at all, probably to the Combat Zone or anything close to that was, and I've probably talked about this before. My roommate freshman year was close to failing his. God, I don't know how he. Well, he never did graduate, but how he passed anything. But he was close to failing this class, this required course at Bradford called Perspective on the Arts, which was just the most general survey class about understanding arts and preparing you for all of the other classes that you would take throughout your career.
So basically, it was the 100 course,
Yeah,
not even a 101.
Not even a 101. But we were all required to take it if you were anywhere in the humanities, and he was close to failing it. And to make up credit, he was told he had to go see a show in Boston, and he picked Blue Man Group. Which I had. This is the first time I was going to see it, and he said he would, because I had a car, he would get me a ticket to Blue Man Group if I drove him. And so we drove into where I think it's a Charles Playhouse, which is close to. It's the theater district, which was close to.
Did you park
the Combat Zone?
Did you park in one of the lots, or
well, we parked
in
very close to Charles. He was paying for whatever, so we got to the closest.
He's like, I'll pay for the hookers too.
But I remember going in or around that area and just being like, what the fuck is this? It was like I was barely 18. It was
because you were just 18.
Yeah, I started college at 17, but I turned 18 a month in.
I had just turned 18 when I started college, and then I quit.
And
then I went back, and then I quit, and I went back, and then I transferred, and then I finished.
Hey, that's the way it works for some people. It's a different journey for everybody.
Right. Like, we had a class that I took my senior year, last semester, called Music Appreciation. And I've talked about this class before. It was the one where I had, one of the exams I had, I think it was the final. Mm-hmm. I think he just wanted 100 questions so it would be easy to grade.
Yeah.
Just be like, one question per 1 point.
Why couldn't it be 10 questions and each one is worth 10 points?
Well, if you get one wrong, then you're kind of fucked.
Oh, okay.
Or if you get more than.
Got it.
So one of the questions was, which of these is trombone? It was A, trombone, B, trombone, C, pepperoni. Or wait, which one of these is not?
Which one of these is not a trombone?
Okay. Yeah, so A, B, and D were all trombone, and then C was pepperoni, and that was the answer.
Okay. That's
Ed Maligian. That guy was a treat. He was like
I'm sure somebody has tried to play the pepperoni as a musical instrument.
I don't understand. I was constantly hungover in that class. I think it was on Thursday mornings, and I would have my radio show the night before. Okay. So it would be over at midnight, and then it'd be.
Maybe he just-
nursing the hangover, and then it wasn't like early morning class. It was like I
Yeah.
think at 10:30, but still, like I was not like my head wasn't there, and I would take an exam and I would ace it, and like there would be like students that were doing poorly, and I'm like, maybe you don't belong in school.
I was gonna say maybe he saw that you were hungover, and he's like, well, Wednesday night, that's somebody who's really dedicated to their rock shows, their music.
It was not a music show.
I know it wasn't a music, but I'm saying maybe he didn't know anything about you otherwise, and he's just like he must have been out of the concert. He must have been.
I got all the fucking answers right.
I know. I'm saying this is what I was thinking before you finished your story.
No,
so.
I just like I would pass it. Like I would be like I would get like bonus points, and I'm like, how the fuck did I do that?
Yeah.
But like I'd see in people who were like getting like 70s, and I'm like,
I don't.
how did you manage?
That's like people who get really low grades in some of the classes that I teach, where I start the first day, I'm like, you have to work really hard not to get an A in this class. I mean, or you have to really, that's not the way I phrase it. I'd be like, you have to really want to fail this class.
Yeah, like I mean,
and people still do.
most I mean, like every except with the exception of one when I was at Middlesex, like every college professor that I've ever had has been, like just like if you show up. Like
show up and do the work.
Show up and like at least participate. Like you'll get if you do the work, you'll get more of a better. You'll get a better grade. But if you like show up and like participate in conversations, you'll probably at least get a C.
Yeah. No, it's you make it painfully obvious how easy it is to pass, and yet some people still don't. I mean, I have a blanket. It started this a couple years ago. I have a blanket late grade policy, which is that it's 10 points off no matter how late it is, no matter when you turn it in the semester, which leads to problems for me because there are people who will take advantage of that and will turn it in literally like 10 minutes before midnight the day grades are due. But it's what I deal with because I don't want to fail anybody. I don't want to deal with that. And yet I did have somebody this semester who, I wrote to them a number of times, and I did more reminders than I probably needed to, and yet they still just didn't turn in like their final couple of things, and so I had to give them an F. Like
you're such a dick, Professor Clark.
I know.
We know, Clark, that you failed this kid.
I'm such a hard ass, Steve.
Yeah.
My ass does not kiss anybody.
What?
I'm going back to the very beginning. We were talking about assholes kissing.
Like butts making out.
Butts making out. That's a thing that I don't think is a thing.
Yeah, people rubbing butt. I've definitely rubbed butts.
As a sexual thing?
No.
Okay.
That's a silly thing.
This is a silly thing, yeah. But I mean, well, I suppose if you're having scissor sex, you might rub butts up against each other. I don't think that.
I'm not talking buttholes. I'm just talking about butt cheeks.
Butt cheeks, yeah. Do you think you think there's a fetish out there for somebody who sticks one butt cheek between another person's two butt cheeks, and that's what gets somebody off?
You take it like it's like your butt eating the butt.
Yeah, like it's butt eating butt. It's Pac-Man. Maybe that's what Pac-Man
that's the Pac-Man is when a butt is eating another butt.
No, that's Ms. Pac-Man.
Oh.
Right? Because they meet. There's only one, and I'm only saying that's Ms. Pac-Man because in Ms. Pac-Man they do meet. It's canonical, right? Like they meet, they go on a date, whatever. Like that's in the cutscenes. So
all right, Chris.
So the Ms. Pac-Man
Captain
is when
Backpedal during Pride Month.
The Ms. Pac-Man is when people's butts eat each other. You really thought I was done with that joke. You really thought that your warning would set me off, and I just would.
So who's Christy Turlington again? No,
Christy Turlington.
No, I saw.
You saw. And would you? I mean, that's a fine person to have.
She seemed a little. I don't know. At least.
Are you talking about
recent pictures? She's
an older. No,
woman. I'm not saying she was unattractive. I'm just saying that she seemed a little lean.
Yes, yes, definitely lean. Like maybe too lean, but yeah. I don't want to skinny shame.
Go lean crunch.
God. WWDC was this past week.
There we go. Nice segue.
I'm not even going to try. They didn't announce any segues there because Apple doesn't make segues.
No, but yeah, whatever.
Well, no, I mean we were talking before the show. We were adding up some things that we might talk about, and one of the things we thought we might talk about with tech conferences because we're both geeky.
Yes.
And we like consumer electronics. Like, I don't like video games as much as you like video games, and maybe you aren't as obsessed with Apple stuff as I'm obsessed with Apple stuff. But there's usually times...
look at my awesome laptop over there with the melted bottom.
But there are times over the year, especially, I think it tends to be, a lot of them happen in late May, early June, where all the tech companies come out and they tell us all about the new stuff they're going to give us over the next year. And WWDC is the Apple one, which happened about a week ago as people are listening to this. And E3 is the video game one, which is starting.
I think it's happening right now. I think Xbox is doing things, and I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about what Microsoft is doing.
Yeah.
For their, because I don't know.
Have you ever owned an Xbox?
We have one right there.
Yeah.
But that is Becky's. That is not mine.
Yeah.
Well,
so I guess you have never gone out personally and bought an Xbox.
Yeah, like I think the original Xbox came out around the time of the PlayStation 2. And I think the PlayStation 2 was the obvious choice because it was a DVD player.
Yeah. My friend, my boss, at the time, her friends were working on the Xbox project. I heard a little bit about it. This would have been in 2000, anywhere from 2000 to 2002, somewhere in there.
That seems around.
But that might have just been the prototype because her friends were on the team. It might not have even had a name at that point.
So I mean, I've always been like a 2 console at a time, or well, not always, but since PlayStation came out, I think that was the road that I was like, all right, I'll stick with this. Mm-hmm. So I've gotten every PlayStation console, and I've it's weird. I've gotten every Nintendo console, except I no longer I sold my N64. Mm-hmm. Like I got it when it came out, which was I think in '96, and I sold it. Yeah, for a trip to Montreal. It was Will and I and this other kid Eric. Mm-hmm. And it was funny because I remember Eric and I was driving and Eric and I both smoked and Will was sitting in the back seat and unbeknownst to us, we were never smoking at the same time. Oh, no. And it was cold. I forget what month it was, but I think it was maybe February. And so it was fucking cold out.
And you always had the windows down.
And so at least one of us had the window down because we were ashing out the window. And I think Will at some point was like, could you please fucking smoke at the same time so I can warm up here?
Poor Will.
Yeah. Whip poor Will.
Well, it's just he's been through a lot. He didn't even graduate high school, that guy.
Yeah, well, he got his... I think he got his... No, he went to summer school, so he got his diploma. So he did technically graduate. He just didn't... He didn't walk with the rest of us.
Yeah. Who wants to walk with the... You got to walk alone. Walk tall.
Because you're mine. I'll walk the line.
So you've never been an Xbox person, so you don't really care what they're announcing right now.
Yeah, so I mean, they're at this point, like the only company that has good exclusives is Nintendo. Yeah, like if they didn't come out with the Switch and the Switch didn't, or if they didn't come out with the Switch or the Switch didn't hit, like
you'd be down to just PlayStation. You personally,
yeah. Then I think Nintendo would just be a software publisher, like what happened with Sega, right? And so PlayStation and Xbox would just have Nintendo games on it.
Yeah, because you're saying that generally speaking, when a game comes out for PlayStation, it also comes out for Xbox.
I mean, there are like PlayStation exclusives and there are Xbox exclusives, but neither have been something that I am like, oh my god, I need to have that. Like if it's something, if I have like if there's a game, I think there's a Spider-Man game coming out in the fall that I'm interested in.
But that would be PlayStation, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but like,
just I only say that.
But I already have the PlayStation, so I'm not gonna like go out. I already have the system, so I'm not going to go out and buy it for this fucking Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
When like something might eventually just come out on the other systems.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So presumably tomorrow, next day, over the next few days, you'll get your Sony and your. Does Nintendo do E3?
Yeah, they're like they've done weird things. Like when the Wii U came out, it was like I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. And then like the couple of years after, like they tried so hard, but like they made like they screwed the pooch so bad with the Wii U. Like there was so many bad things or bad choices that they made.
Yeah.
Because it was a system that still had the Wii name.
Yeah.
And then it like if you saw the advertising for it, you're just like, oh, it's just a gamepad.
Yeah.
For my Wii.
Right. Yeah. It didn't. I mean, I understood it because I tried to understand it, but if I just as
if you're
passive,
just like yeah.
Whereas like the Wii, I didn't try to understand it. It gradually infected my brain. I was like, that sound... And then I went and I saw it at my friend Stacy's house, and it made total sense within like 3 to 5 minutes. Like I was like, oh, this is... Yeah. And we owned one, within that Christmas.
Really? You got it that Christmas?
Well, she had gotten it.
Oh, like a year prior.
Yeah, we got ours like the second or third.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you got it that fucking Christmas?
No.
Like, but, unless you pre-ordered it, there's no way you were fucking getting that thing.
No. We got it after our friend Stacy had it for a while. I don't know when she got it.
It's weird because like the like it seems like every other Nintendo system seems to well, at the N64, I think it was the lull in that like. Because like PlayStation and well, actually no, like Nintendo definitely did better than Sega at that point. But like PlayStation, I think did gangbusters better than the N64.
Yeah.
And then the next round was the GameCube, and I love my GameCube, but it's like like PlayStation 2 like was just like, what the fuck are you thinking, Nintendo?
Yeah, it's hard to be a fan of these companies sometimes because you want them to do really well, and then if they put out a flop, like, do you stop being a fan just because they put out a flop? No. And it's I don't know if it's.
I mean, there's some great games for the Wii U, but like most of them are like we talked about this when we talked about me buying games again for the Switch.
Yeah.
Like they came out with a lot of good games, and there's just no one like they waited too long for those good games to like if they had Mario Kart 8 at launch, like people would have been like, oh, what's this Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U? What's this?
What's the Wii U?
What's the Wii U? Oh, this is a new system. Okay, well let's buy it for this Mario Kart game. Not like 4 years later.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I brought that up as kind of a sorry, I'm just
typing things really loud.
Yeah, I know it's really like I mentioned WWDC. I'm a huge Apple person.
Oh yeah. What did you like and what did you not like about current presentation?
Before I say anything about that, I just want to say, generally speaking, it's like, oh no, this was my point. I am an Uber fan of things
Uber and not Lyft.
No, I think if I used either of those, I would be more apt to use Lyft because Uber seems like a really shitty company. I'm sure they're all bad, but Uber seems like a really
every ride share like I've ever seen has both fucking stickers in their window.
Yeah. I should mean the company is anyway. So I'm a huge Nine Inch Nails fan, right? And I don't think they ever flop as hard as sometimes Apple does, or I also like Nintendo. Like if I were to get it, I think if I were to get a system, my first choice, because I've always been a Nintendo person, would be a Switch. I'm always torn because it seems like PlayStation has a lot of cool stuff on it.
I mean, like if you the bonus of having a PS4 or PS3 or whatever is that it's a Blu-ray player,
right? But so anyway, my point is, I think with the other things that I'm a super huge fan of, They don't have as many flops, so it never tests my fandom. But with Apple, for instance, they do occasionally make really dumb decisions. The keyboard, I have not had this problem. Knock on wood. I don't have any wood. But the keyboard in this particular MacBook Pro that I have, which is in a lot of the ones circa this vintage, has been widely derided because it fails on people all the damn time for basically
getting a teeny bit of cum in it.
Tiny specks of dust or cum get under the keys, and then you basically have to replace the whole top case because they're doing these unibody enclosures now. So they tried something new with the keyboard. They completely fucked up. They had a MacBook, a Mac Pro for a number of years that they didn't update. It was their supposedly pro machine, but it was getting to the point where iPads had faster processors than their supposedly pro machine. And so they've had fuck-ups over the years. This particular WWDC, nothing earth-shatteringly cool, but a lot of like sort of cool things, including what they're calling Memoji, which are essentially...
So they're stealing from Nintendo.
Yeah. Although somebody did make that joke. I forget what their thing was. They should just... Anyway. Yes, they're...
they should just have be the Mii's from Nintendo.
Instead of the Animoji, which are these things where on an iPhone 10 you can look at it and you can make your...
It'll be like playing that goddamn fucking like Miitomo game.
Yes, but yes. Lots of cool things. The one thing that made me really mad and that took up a lot of my goddamn week was they announced that they didn't even announce this at the keynote event, but they announced this afterwards, that the new operating system, which comes out in October probably for the Mac, will not be supported by my iMac that's sitting at home. Now, that's not unsurprising because my iMac is 6 years old and is a almost 8-year-old model. I bought mine towards the end of that model's life cycle, but it still like bummed me out.
I mean, you'll still be able to use it. You just won't be able to get the new freaking iOS.
But I was in the reality distortion field, which is what they used to call it when Steve Jobs spoke, and it's still sort of there. And so I heard it, and I was just like, no, I want my stuff to run the latest stuff. And so I spent a lot of time this week before I finally came back around to exactly what you just said, of being like, I need to make my laptop my primary computer. I need to do everything I can to eliminate the iMac from my life. This perfectly functional computer, which does still does everything it should do. It just isn't going to run the latest OS and isn't going to get the security updates that come with the latest OS, but it will still get security. I just got all sorts of bent out of shape, and it's one of these things, to tie it back into something bigger in my life. Regret. I bought that computer in 2011. I bought it in 2012. It was a 2011 model computer.
So you probably got your employee discount.
I got my employee discount. There was a new model coming out, and I don't know if they pre-announced it or what. There was a new model coming out. It was not going to offer as big a hard drive as the old model did.
So that's why you bought the
old model. And so I bought the old model because I wanted the bigger hard drive.
Was it like a terabyte?
I wanted a 2 terabyte. And the new ones were only going to offer up to a terabyte.
Holy shit.
Because
they wanted to encourage cloud usage or something?
No, I just think given the size of... So what they did with that one, that was the one in late 2012 where they took away the DVD-ROM drive to make it thinner. And I think at that point, you couldn't get really good 2 terabyte drives into that space. Within a year or so, they were making ones that you could get a 2 terabyte drive in there. But I made the choice, and it has bitten me in the ass time and time again because that new model also had the newer version of Bluetooth, which is required for a lot of the things that Apple's done over the last 4 or 5 years. It all this stuff. Just if I just waited 6 months, if I wasn't so convinced that I needed a 2 terabyte internal hard drive, ugh. But anyway, this is one of those reasons that I come back to the Mac as the better platform for me, because mostly I don't want to do any tinkering and I don't want to think about specs like that, and I just want to think about, does the thing do what I fucking want it to do? Which is why I wish I liked video games more, because they just do what you... I mean, yeah, you get like Red Rings of Death on your fucking Xbox. I don't know if that's still a thing.
I don't know. I think we've only turned it on a couple of times.
Like, stuff breaks, yeah, but it's like... It does what it's meant to do, right? Like your older video game consoles probably still fucking work.
Yeah, my GameCube still works. My PS2 still works, of the ones that I have hooked up.
They still play their games, and
I have your brother's Dreamcast, and it's in the closet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I borrowed it from him a long time ago.
I played.
If he ever wants it back,
once or twice with my friend John, not my brother John.
I liked the Dreamcast. It had some decent titles on it, but like the controller, I thought was fucked.
I remember not knowing what the hell to do with that controller. John really liked it. My I don't know if my brother did, but my friend John really liked it, and I was just like
the N64 controller. I was sort of like, what the fuck is this nonsense when it first came out? But then like
that one made sense after a little while.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay, this analog stick is for like, doing motion-y or doing like subtle movements as opposed to the D-pad, which is
right.
what I was used to.
Yeah.
But it had both, so you could hold it, this way or this way.
Yeah.
I just did things with my hands, and you didn't see what it was.
Well, let's end it there, Steve, because we tell them if they really like you doing things with your hands, they should leave us a review. No, I don't know.
What? Yeah, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes or wherever you consume it. Or clarkwoods.com.
Yeah. I always leave the comments open. You can leave us a comment.
Oh, yeah. I think... I'm bringing it talking shop right on the end of the show. I think Gina was having problems accessing it from a computer, so I don't know if there was something funky going on with the website.
I will have to take a look.
Yeah. I finally remembered to tell you about that 3 months ago.
Okay.
And if you want to contact us, you can...
hot at clarkwoods.com is the place.
Yeah, hot at clarkwoods.com. You can send us an email. I know it's such a fucking taxing thing.
It is.
To write a couple of words and send it away, but I think you guys... I think
they can handle it.
All right, guys and ladies and everybody out there,
gender non-conforming, non-binary, ladies and gentlemen and non-binary wonderful people.
Yes, all of you folks, have yourself a great Pride Month, and we'll see you next week.